Well, at least someone in charge of some of the COVID vaccine rollout is thinking big and aiming to get set to get this done. Today, the hero premier of this pandemic, Gladys Berejiklian, was thinking big like the US and the UK, which have been using drive-through sporting venues to roll out the jab and sporting stadiums to service tens of thousands at a time. The New South Wales Health plan is to open a mass vaccination hub at Sydney Olympic Park, likely inside the Royal Easter Show precinct. Now, this is how you supercharge the process. And whether it can be done or not, given the slow release of actual vaccine, at least a plan is being formulated so that if doses from CSL in Melbourne do arrive in their tens of thousands as promised, New South Wales has a mass vaccination hub ready to take advantage of those circumstances.
Our ability to do 60,000 vaccinations a week depends on us getting the supply of the vaccine from the Commonwealth. At the end of the day, the Commonwealth is responsible for getting the vaccine to the states. They're responsible for making sure we have those doses to be able to give out.
Now, the Health Secretary, Brendan Murphy, still isn't sure about when those million doses per week will begin to leave the laboratory.
So CSL are releasing batches sometimes more than twice a week, so it's very hard to give an exact number.
So no one got an exact number. In fact, Murphy was rather, cold on the idea of establishing a mass vaccination hub at the moment.
It's not possible to stand up a large number of additional mass vaccination clinics. We don't have the vaccine to do that.
Not now, but if we have it in 2 weeks once the batch approval is done, you might be advised to be ready. Like we have established today that 2.5 million doses of our locally produced AstraZeneca vaccine are actually still sitting inside those laboratories waiting for what's called batch testing approval. They're done, ready to go. Now, there's no word when that will happen, but some are suggesting in 2 to 3 weeks' time. It is mighty frustrating. We all get that. But as the PM reiterated today, circumstances would be very different if the EU hadn't stood in the way of millions of doses.
3.1 million of the contracted vaccines that we had been relying upon in early January, when we'd set out a series of targets, did not turn up in Australia. That is just a simple fact. Now, that fact has been the key reason for the early phases of the supply shortage in the rollout of the vaccine. It's straightforward maths. 3.1 million out of 3.8 million doses did not come to Australia.
However, for the first time since the government began explaining the hold-up, which is about a week ago, the European Union has weighed in and they don't sound too happy with what they're being accused of.
No, we certainly cannot confirm any new decision to block vaccine exports to Australia or to any other country for that matter.
Make of that what you will. Australia is in a very small risk environment. But as winter approaches, efforts need to ramp up to get the other half of the aged care population, the other half, and the vulnerable vaccinated before we head into winter in June. But well done to the New South Wales Premier, despite what we heard from the Health Secretary, who again is showing initiative and showing her smarts in being ready for the next stage. Mass vaccination hubs will be the way forward. That's the lesson abroad. And there's no point waiting around until tens of thousands of vials suddenly arrive by refrigerated truck one day. The time for planning is now.